Please be seated. Provost Zukowski, Vice Provost Grantfield, Vice Provost Miller, Vice Provost Melvin, Vice Provost Kane, Dean Witkowski-Wendy, members of the Platform Party, and honored guests. The graduates, candidates for degree, faculty, staff, and the parents, families, and friends of the graduates and candidates are assembled. I hereby declare the commencement of the School of Public Health and Health Professions to be open.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jean Witkowski-Wendy, Dean of the University of Buffalo School of Public Health and Health Professions. It's my pleasure to welcome you and invite you to join with us in this 13th commencement program of the school. I'd like to first introduce Christopher Wittig, who will lead us singing the national anthem. Could you please all stand?
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You can all be seated. Thank you, Christopher. Wasn't it wonderful? Just unbelievable. I am very pleased to introduce Joseph Westlake, who, as one of our graduates today, will offer a welcome to help begin today's ceremony. Joseph will receive his doctorate of physical therapy today.
Thank you, Dean Witkowski-Wendy, and welcome to the professors, colleagues, family, and friends, and graduates of 2015. Or as we like to say at home, gracias, Dean, y bienvenidos a los profesores, graduados, familias, y amistades. It is with great honor that I'm opening today's ceremony with a salutation to what might be considered the greatest class the School of Public Health and Health Professions has ever produced. I say greatest because we have all arrived at this very same location despite the hundreds of different roads that we all individually took to get here. Think about that for a second. Many of us got here without any specific roadmap or GPS. Some of us stopped to enjoy the scenery every chance we got before we continued onwards. Others hit seemingly every single roadblock and pothole we encountered, but we kept rolling through these obstacles anyway. Some of you ran, and some of us definitely walked. Some of us carpooled by galvanizing people with similar interests. But at the end of the day, we still got here collectively as the next group of health professionals ready to tackle our next common goal, which is improving the lives of those around us. Needless to say, we wouldn't have gotten here without those influences and support systems in our lives that help steer us in the right direction throughout our journeys. That would be in part many of the brilliant minds sitting behind me, whose collective passion for teaching has paved the way for us to be successful in our own right. They've bestowed upon us the imprint to better ourselves and be that much greater moving forward. We also get the fuel from the people sitting behind all of you, the families who have sacrificed an arm and a leg to see you sitting here on this day and walk across that stage. We now have the fuel, the direction, and the drive that got us here to this point, and that's good. But what will it take for us to hit that clutch one last time and shift into our final gear? That gear that takes you from being good and elevates you to living greatness. Answering that question will take you down another set of 100 roads with new obstacles at every corner. But seeing the people in front of me, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that you're all up for that challenge. Congratulations to the class of 2015, and let the commencement officially begin. Thank you.
So thank you, Joseph, for those inspirational words. Today we have with us some very honored guests, and as I call their names, I'd ask them to stand to be recognized. First, Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs, Robert Granfield. Vice Provost for Equity and Inclusion, Teresa Miller. Vice Provost for Enrollment Management, Lee Melvin. And Vice President for Health Sciences and Dean of the Medical School, Michael Kane. Today we are especially honored to have with us Provost Charles Zukoski. Provost Zukoski will offer some remarks to us, and he will be conferring the degrees. Provost?
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for this celebration of the 2015 commencement. Each spring, the UB community looks forward to celebrating our graduating students' accomplishments and the great promise that each of you hold as you embark on exciting academic and professional paths that your UB education has prepared you to pursue. At UB, you have learned from the most respected researchers, scholars, and practitioners in their disciplines. You and the faculty have been partners in the process of seeking and using knowledge and understanding how to build a better world. This partnership occurs in the classroom while working together in our communities and in labs conducting research side by side. You're uniquely excellent. UB education has prepared you to be responsive to shifting trends and needs, to be flexible and able to apply your knowledge and skills in different ways, and to meet the challenges of the changing healthcare world that you are entering head on. These are attributes that will assure your success into the future. I give you my most sincere and heartfelt congratulations to this class of 2015 University at Buffalo School of Public Health and Health Professions graduates. We are all so proud of your accomplishments. Congratulations.
Thank you, Provost Zukoski. It is my pleasure to welcome all the graduates and the families and friends to our 13th commencement program of this School of Public Health and Health Professions. Today is a celebration that recognizes the accomplishments of all the graduates in the room. Let me start by offering my personal congratulations to each of you. As we confer degrees today, I ask each of you to take a moment. Reflect on your achievement. Today we confer on you a college degree, a tangible achievement that you are able to proudly claim for the remainder of your life. The degree represents knowledge and experiences that will help guide you as you move forward. Some of you will start your careers. Others are moving on to obtain additional education. Regardless of your path, know that you will be able to use all you have learned here to support you as you move ahead. It is your hard work and perseverance that has gotten you to this point. However, for many of you, it is the support of many that have helped you to achieve your degree. This hall is filled with many friends and family members. These individuals have supported our graduates. As a means of thanks, I ask the graduates now to stand, turn to the audience, and offer a round of applause to these supporters. In addition, behind me on this stage are members of the faculty who have taught our graduates. Let us acknowledge their contribution to their education and for their mentorship over these past years. Please join me in applause for their contributions. We have a photographer here today to capture pictures of the events, and we will be posting photographs from today's ceremony on our webpage for all of you to enjoy. Please stay connected with the school and the University of Buffalo as you move forward. Join the Alumni Association to stay connected. Be proud of your school and the education that you got here. I want you all to go into the world, do good things, and use your education and training to contribute to creating a healthier society. Be proud of all you have accomplished. You have earned it. So now I have the special honor to introduce this year's commencement speaker, Dr. Myron Glick. Dr. Glick is the Chief Medical Officer of Jericho Road Community Health Center. He received a Bachelor of Science degree in biology from Houghton College and is a 1993 graduate of the University of Buffalo at Buffalo School of Medicine. Dr. Glick is a board-certified family physician. He completed his residency at Lancaster General Hospital in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and also completed a faculty development fellowship here at the University of Buffalo in the Department of Family Medicine. In 1997, Myron and his wife Joyce opened the doors of Jericho Road Family Practice on Buffalo's West Side. The mission was, and still is, to provide excellent medical care to all who come, regardless of one's insurance status. In addition to serving patients who are a number of refugees living in our community, many of those have never seen a doctor or had prior medical care before coming to the United States. Over the past 18 years, this family practice center has grown to include 2 centers, 21 medical providers, including Dr. Glick, and now sees over 50,000 patient visits per year on the west and east sides of Buffalo. Jericho Road provides care to people representing 70 different countries. In 2003, Jericho Road Ministries was founded as a faith-based adjunct to this family practice. In an effort to serve the community more holistically and sustainably, Jericho Road Ministries and Family Practice merged in 2013 to form Jericho Road Community Health Center. This health center merger has created access to quality medical care and self-sufficiency programs for underserved populations on the east and west sides of Buffalo. In 2014, Jericho Road expanded globally to start a primary care health center in Sierra Leone. Since 1997, Dr. Glick maintains a voluntary appointment at our UB Medical School and trains medical students and family medicine residents. Dr. Glick has been a tireless advocate for the poorest and most vulnerable in Buffalo and across the globe. He remains committed to advocating for the day when all people will have access to quality health care and should be treated with the utmost dignity and respect. Dr. Glick has received many awards and honors for his work. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Glick as our speaker.
Thank you, Dean Wendy, Provost Zukowski, Dr. Kane, faculty, parents, and especially you guys, the graduates. It's an honor to speak to you this afternoon on this special occasions. Congratulations. Today's your day, your time. You've sacrificed to get here, and now you should enjoy this day. I want to speak to you this afternoon about two words. The first word is doubt. Doubt is defined as a feeling of uncertainty, lack of convictions in one's abilities, or an inclination not to believe. You may be thinking, what's Dr. Glick talking about? Is he crazy? This is a day when we're celebrating your achievements. Is he trying to discourage us? I don't think I'm going to get much out of this talk. Well, before you call me crazy, listen me out. You've achieved much. You've achieved something special. No one's going to be able to take away that degree that you've earned today. But you're going to be entering the real world, trying to find a job, trying to make a difference, and maybe even going on for more education. And despite what you've accomplished to this day, I'm sure along the way in your journey from here on, you will experience doubt. Can I get a job, even here in Western New York? Did I really learn what I needed to learn to do this job well? Do I feel called to this profession that I chose? Did I make the right decision? Will I be able to pay off all this student debt? You may have even become a little cynical along the way. You may doubt whether you can really make a difference. Is it really possible for one person to make a difference in the world in which they live? Maybe some of your mentors have disappointed you. Maybe you feel discouraged, even today. I can identify with these feelings. In 1997, after I graduated from family practice residency, my wife Joyce and I started Jericho Road Family Practice. 18 years later, it's still the only job I've ever had. During medical school here in Buffalo, I witnessed the way the poor and are too often treated by our healthcare system. The refugee, the poor, the uninsured are often treated in a much different way than those of us who have private medical insurance and who have resources. Different doctors, different clinics, they wait longer for care, and too often they fare poorly in healthcare outcomes compared to folks with more means. I saw uninsured folks who refused hernia surgeries or refused to get cancer treatment because they could not afford to pay for it. I saw diabetics who've lost a limb, got a limb amputated, because for years they could not afford to buy insulin. I even saw a 60-year-old man one time who was blind right here in Buffalo because he could not afford cataract surgery. I saw refugees who were treated poorly because there was no one in the emergency room or on labor and delivery who could translate the language and interpret our medical culture for them. As a medical student, now over 20 years ago, I was appalled and felt compelled to act in a different manner. So my wife and I took out a bank loan, renovated some space on an abandoned old building on the west side of Buffalo, and opened our doors to serve those who needed care regardless of their ability to pay or their insurance status. It was not easy. The first week we sat around, we only saw 3 patients, a mom and her 2 children. After 2 years of practice, my practice consultant basically begged us to quit. Dr. Glick, you're not making money. You're never going to make money. And after the first 4 years, I was on call 24/7 to deliver babies, worked several other jobs to support my family. We often considered, is this really what we should be doing in those early years? We had every reason to question. It was easy to doubt the circumstances that we were in. William Shakespeare once said, "Our doubt are traitors, and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt." People like Abraham Lincoln became president of the U.S. and led our nation through some of its darkest hours during the Civil War, in spite of being overcome by doubt, in spite of facing depression on a daily basis, dealing with the loss of his son, and feeling guilt at committing so many brave people to their death. Doubting Thomas became a missionary apostle who spread Christianity to India in the 1st century and died a martyr's death, despite having doubted the resurrection of Jesus years earlier. And Nelson Mandela was released from prison after 27 years and led a revolution to end apartheid in South Africa. I am sure at some point during his long imprisonment, he doubted that he could do something. He doubted who he would become. Even myself, Dr. Glick, overcame his own doubts and inauspicious beginnings to grow Jericho Road into a leader in healthcare in Buffalo today, and in so doing changed the way the poor and the refugee are treated in this city. So how is this possible? How is one able to overcome doubt and still accomplish something with their lives? This is my question for each of you as graduates today. So on to my second word. This word is courage. Courage is defined as the ability to do something that frightens one. It's described as strength in the face of pain, doubt, or grief, or the endurance of the soul. I especially like the idea of endurance, perseverance in the face of adversity. This is courage. Nelson Mandela said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." In thinking about courage, I thought I could best illustrate in closing by telling you the story of a very courageous refugee that I met years ago at Jericho Road, a woman by the name of Fabian Abdullahi. I first met Fabian in 2001 when she arrived in Buffalo as a refugee from war-torn Sierra Leone with her husband and her 3 young children. She had grown up in a remote village in Sierra Leone and traveled from village to village with her mom, who was a traditional birth attendant delivering babies. Fabian had a front row seat for how broken the healthcare system was and still is in a place like Sierra Leone. There, the life expectancy for folks is 45 years old. 1 in 5 children die before the age of 5 from diseases that are truly preventable, like malaria, malnutrition, typhoid, pneumonia. Many women die during childbirth because they lack simple access to timely C-sections, sterile birth conditions, and good prenatal care. Fabian went on to become a nurse and was just about ready to return to her home village when the Civil War broke out. Her plans were changed, and she ultimately had to flee for her life, barely getting out of Freetown, the capital of Sierra Leone, in time. She tells a story of leaving Freetown in the middle of the night on a small boat that was built for, at best, 60 people, but was loaded with hundreds of people. And she had to stand for 12 hours with her 3 kids standing right next to her, clinging to her, as she describes, like packed sardines. 2 other boats that night left Freetown, and they were shelled, and all the people on board were drowned. She was fortunate. Eventually, she arrived in Buffalo, vowing never to return to Africa. She was a broken woman filled with a lot of doubt. But somehow she found healing and courage, and her life began to change. She attended nursing school right here in Buffalo, and then worked at Jericho Road with us for 8 years. About 6 years ago, she came to me and she said, "Dr. Glick, I feel like I need to go back to my people, to my village, to my country, and start a medical center." We agreed to support her in this effort, and in 2013, she moved back to Sierra Leone, and for the past 2 years, she's endured despite incredible logistical challenges, despite Ebola, and many other adversities. Today, right now, she's leading a primary health care center in her hometown that's seeing 75 to 100 patients per day, delivering babies, and making a real difference. Fabian had doubts, for sure, and I'm sure she would be the first to say that it's not easy. Just this week, she called me and said that she was delivering a baby on Wednesday. Everything was going well until they started pushing. Suddenly, one of the most feared complications for obstetrical care happened. The cord came out first, a cord prolapse. She immediately transferred the baby to the only hospital in Kono district. This hospital serves 540,000 people. They have 2 doctors. Unfortunately, that day, when Fabian arrived, even though the baby still had a heartbeat, there was no one in the hospital to do the C-section, and the baby died. Fabian has endured. She is showing true courage. T.S. Eliot once said, "Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go." Muhammad Ali said, "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life." So this afternoon, to the graduates, I leave you with 2 words: doubt and courage. My challenge to each of you is to rise above your own doubts and to face your own future with courage, with endurance. May it someday be said of you that because you had courage, you were able to overcome and you made a real difference in your world. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Glick, for that wonderful speech and for all you do for our community.